Today's Edison format deck profile, Diva Hero. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are breaking down what's probably the biggest hero deck of the format. At least one that you see top or even go undefeated at tournaments pretty frequently. It is Diva Hero. Now you're combining the water with the heroes to help get Absolute Zero out a little bit quicker thanks to Future Fusion. Not only that, you got some spicy techs like Treeborn Frog and Caius in there for a little bit of a recurring backup plan as well too. But of course, before we dive into that, smash that subscribe button if you want to see more deck profiles in the future. Alright guys, and kicking off the deck, you know we can't have a hero deck without our one copy of the boy himself, Elemental Hero Stratos. So we can get that search, we can get that pop, whichever one we need the most, basically. So we got our one copy of the boy, Elemental Hero Stratos. Followed by one copy of Elemental Hero Neos Alias, a solid little tyke, looking to be the big old E-Hero Neos as well. So we got one copy of him in here as well. Moving on, we got our two copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. I mean, of course, we have to have D-Hero Malicious. He's one of the most recurring heroes that you see in any Edison deck profile, or really any hero profile. So we got two copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. We have two copies of Evil Hero Infernal Prodigy. He's kind of like the hero Cyber Dragon. Control no monsters, you can just special summon him right on out. And then if you do end up tributing him for a hero monster, you can draw a card. Because I have seen Destiny Hero Plasma in this deck as well too. So, you know, you definitely got some versatility that you can do in here. So, we got two copies of Evil Hero Infernal Prodigy. Trying to get that second with the red text from Season 3 Legendary Duelist. Definitely a cool one. So that's going to be our hero monsters in the main deck. Now next we have three copies of Deep Sea Diva. Very good water monster. It's a tuner as well. When it's normal summon, you can special summon a level 3 or lower Sea Serpent type monster from your deck. So of course we're going to have our copy of Spine Gilman to go with our Deep Sea Divas. That way we're able to go right into an easy 5, or if you have other monsters on the field, you can go into whatever you'd like. But yeah, it's a little bit of a nice little package that we have here. So we got 3 Diva, and then the 1 Spine Gilman. Moving on, we got our one copy of Treeborn Frog. I mean, we can dump him off of Future Fusion, and once Future Fusion's off the field, start bringing back Treeborn Frog and get a little bit more versatility out of him. Always getting a monster on the field, so we can chimney him off for Caius. So one copy of Treeborn Frog, followed by 2 copies of Snowman Eater. Very good flip effect monster. Not only that, we got 1900 defense on there as well too, so definitely helps kind of build up a wall if we need to go that route. Definitely a good starter. I mean, very similar to Raikou. You know, you get to pop, I believe it's a monster as opposed to a card, but hey. He's got a big snowman booty on him, so like I said, at least we got a nice little 1900 defense wall that we can kind of stall our opponent with. So moving on, we have our 3 copies of Caius, the Shadow Monarch. I mean, with him and having Treeborn, we always have fodder tribute off, or even Malicious as well. So, you know, we got a little versatility going on with Caius in here, so we're able to run 3 of him. Moving on, we got 1 copy of Morphine Jar. So this was actually in the Diva Hero deck that went, I believe, undefeated at the YCS in Las Vegas, I believe. So we're running 1 copy. It's definitely good to help refresh the hand a little bit, because sometimes it can get a little clunky. Not only that, it's a rock, earth, so we're using it for Elemental Hero Gaia in the extra deck. So pretty good, pretty good. Definitely nice having it in there. Then we got one copy of Sangan. It helps search out a few things in here, make it a little bit quicker. Then we got one copy of Gores as well, because Gores is good. There's nothing really much more to it. So moving on, we have 3 copies of Miracle Fusion. So we're going to be banishing from our graveyard, from our field, to bringing out Absolute Zero, bringing out Gaia, either one. Obviously, Absolute Zero is going to be our kind of end-all goal there, because he is just so good and so versatile. So 3 copies of Miracle Fusion, followed by our 1 copy of E-Emergency Call, so we can get that E-Hero to our hand a little bit quicker. And then, of course, we have Future Fusion as well, too. One of the best fusion cards in the format, obviously. It's almost like a painful choice, but when you're doing it for 2 monsters, it's a little dummy down. But hey, Future Fusion, you can send off, Malicious, Morphing Jar, Treeborn Frog, whatever you need to send off for whatever fusion you're trying to go into. So, 1 copy of Future Fusion. We got 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. Since we do have a pretty solid amount of darks, we have 1 copy of Allure of Darkness. Followed by 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. I know given 3,000 life points to your opponent does not sound the best, but sometimes to kind of unclog your hand, it's definitely worth it. So we got 3 copies of Upstart in here, followed by a copy of Brain Control, copy of Heavy Storm, and a copy of Mystical Space Typhoon to round out the spell cards. So moving on to the traps, we have 2 copies of Dimensional Prison, just to help screw over our opponent for anything they're trying to do. 2 copies of Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Very good, pretty self-explanatory. It's like a Ryza in a trap card. Just send it right back to your opponent's deck. Not only that, you have to discard for it, so if you do end up having a Malicious in hand, you're able to just discard him, and then you can go right in and get a Malicious from your deck. So, pretty nice to get into the graveyard a little bit quicker thanks to that. Then we have a copy of Bottomless Trap Hole, a copy of Raigeki Break, a copy of Mirror Force, and a copy of Solemn Judgment as well too, rounding out the main deck. So moving on to the extra deck, we have our 3 copies of Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. Now he is just so good. Just so good. You don't have to use an Elemental Hero. You can use just any hero monster and a water monster. So you could send Malicious and Treeborn and get a little more recursion right there, which is nice. But with him, when he leaves the field, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So yeah, pretty tough for your opponent if they don't have any real outs to Absolute Zero. So we got 3 copies of him in here. He's pretty much our big boss monster. Then we have 2 copies of Elemental Hero Gaia. So with him, he is an Elemental Hero monster for material. So be sure to keep that in mind. Not only that, when he comes out, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls until the end phase its attack is halved, and this card gains that same amount of attack. Now, of course, this deck doesn't have too high power monsters. We do have some synchros in here as well, but this helps get over, quite a few big beaters that make it a little bit more challenging. So we got 2 copies in here, and you could obviously switch out the one, toss in something else, a little more generic synchro, or if you want some other kind of hero fusion, you could go that route as well. I basically just have it in there as a placeholder. 1 copy of our Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon for the Cyber Dragon we would have in our side deck. Now we have our 1 copy of Armory Arm, our 1 copy of Ally of Justice Catastor, our 1 copy of Goyo Guardian, our 1 copy of Brio, our 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon, our Thought Ruler Archfiend, Stardust Dragon, Colossal Fighter, and Dark End Dragon to round out the extra deck. So there you have it, guys. That is my Diva Hero deck. Like I said, it's pretty much the one that went undefeated at the YCS in Las Vegas. It's definitely a fun deck to play. I know it's one of the big hero decks of the format as well, too. I love the extra deck. You can definitely play around with it. Like I mentioned, I have 2 guy in there. You really don't need to because you're only playing 1 morphine jar, which is going to be your Earth. So you can definitely, fumble around there, figure out what you'd like to put in instead. Like I said, I've seen some people put in, different hero fusions, so you can definitely go that route as well, too. But let me know down below, what do you guys think? What would you do differently? What kind of hero build do you like playing? So there's one where it's like big city, I think, so maybe we'll venture into that one down the line as well. But of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Smash it, do whatever you gotta do to it. If you want to see future deck profiles. And of course, be sure to check out the links down below. Check out a TCG player link if you're gonna buy any of your Edison singles or any meta relevant singles as well too. Be sure to check out the Etsy store, rpkgaming.com as well too. And be on the lookout! I'm going to have a big Edison series coming up. So be on the lookout for that, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good one. But until then, we will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye, and good night.